Hi everyone, welcome back. Simple interest. People charge extra money when you borrow money off them. If you buy something from a shop, they can say you'll pay it off over a period of 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And they will charge you extra. Simple interest, by its even name, is the simplest case of it. It's not used as often in life, but we still talk about it and we still assess it. It's affected by lots of other factors, but let's look at the basics today of just how is a simple interest calculated. One of the things I'd like to do in some ways is talk about that it's all going to be multiplied. Forget about formulas and everything else. It's $800 and you're going to calculate 7%. So in simplistic terms, we're just going to go 800 times by 7% and hopefully you're okay. 7% we could write as 7 over 100, or we could write as 0.07. 2 zeros, 2 decimal places. Those who watch all my videos will get sick of me saying it. It's a small number, it's smaller than 10. So because it's smaller than 10, you can't just write 0.7, you got 0.07. And then you times it by the number of years, which is 3. So interesting if you didn't know a formula, and I think when I was at school, I didn't think of the formula. I'd just go, I'd probably think of it the other way around. 7% of that, which is 0.07 times that, and then I would do it for 3 years. But most people will come in and they will teach it this way. But if you're okay without the formula, it's only that times that times that. And that gives you the simple interest. So let's have a look at the formula. People will write S or I or SI, and they'll write PRT. And P confuses a lot of people. The word is actually principal. And it's the principal. Now, it's not a word that mathematicians make up. When I bought this house, I borrowed a certain amount of money. And that amount of money that I borrowed, the money that I started with is called my principal. And then people get mixed up and say, I can't remember what principal is. So I talk, okay, we're all in the school. Who gets paid the most money in the school? Hi to my principal. The principal gets paid the most money. They will get more than the deputies, and the deputies will get more than the heads of the department, and the heads of the department will get more. So the more responsibility you have in the organisations, the more pay you get. So the principal in the school is the person that gets the most money. So when we're talking about principal is just the money. So I'm going to write the 800 down. Now, in the algebra, when letters are written next to each other, it means there's a multiply in between. So all the time we're doing multiplication. And I still have people think of division and all sorts of weird things to do. Now 7%, nag people about it. It's less than 10%. So it's got to have an extra 0. And over here, 7 out of 100, 0.07. Don't want to use fractions because we're talking about money. And then you multiply it by the time, which is 3. And you come up with an answer, and here's my answer, and my answer is written down. And it turns out to be $168. So if you had an $800 loan and you were paying 7% interest and it was for 3 years, you'd have to pay an extra $168. That's the extra, that's the interest that's charged on. Sometimes people will say, what's the total amount you paid? So if they said, what's the total amount you paid, you'd go to 800 plus the 168. This number is just the interest. Total amount you paid would be the 800 plus 168. So I'm not going to nag about that too much here. Let's have a look at this question. When I was at school, I would have written that times by that times by that. I didn't think about the formula, so let's go with the formula. But first of all, you got 3 numbers. There's no division involved. We're talking about multiplication. And like I've said on other videos, I can think of 3 or 4 students yesterday in class, in my Year 9 math class, saying, don't we divide? And it wasn't on this topic, but on percentages. And they're always talking about divide. And let's look at what this is about. So if you're a formula person, you can talk about the simple interest is PRT. Same again, there's a multiply between each of them, so they're going to be multiply. And then you can look at the principal. The principal is the one, the money is the principal, so that's 2190.50. Now the trap, I'm going to leave that one to last. I'm going to go multiply by 5. Now, a lot of you heard me say over and over and over and over again, I like the peekaboo method. It's like, boo, there's a half there. Excuse me being silly. So 3% is very small. So it can't be 0.3. 30% is, look at that, 30% is 0.3. 3% is 0.03. Now get that again with other numbers. So 20% is 0.2, whereas 2% is 0.02. So bigger number, smaller number. If we're talking about money, that'd be talking about 30 cents, was that talking about 3 cents? So 3% is a lot smaller than 30%. So we know that 3 has to be a 0.03. Now here's where people come unstuck. I could have written that as a decimal, I decided to write it as a fraction. Most people are okay that a half is 0.5. Not going to talk about that at length here, but if you don't know that, a half is 0.5, most people know the half is 0.5. So that means there's another digit that comes after the 3, and that half becomes a 5. So 3.5%, 0.03 because it's small, a half means it's going to be a 5. Can you imagine what people are going to do with questions like this? They can go 3 1/4, 3 3/4, because in real life that's what happens. And then they can go the revolting one for a lot of people, 3 1/3%. Third is pretty common. Doesn't work nice for percentages. So when I calculate that answer, I end up getting $383 and what's the trap here? 3375. So when we got money, we're not going to have 4 decimals on money, we only want 2. So sometimes I put a line there to draw it to people's attention, and then with the peekaboo method, is it going to be 33 cents or is the bank going to charge you or the company going to charge you 34 cents? So if that next number, don't have to look at both, just the next one. Is that next number a big number? Most people say yes. What's the definition of big? 5 or more. So if you see a 5 or more there, and especially the banks and any finance company, they're going to round it up to 34 cents. So that is $383.34. That's your interest. That's the interest you're going to pay. That's the extra money you're going to pay for borrowing that amount of money at that percentage for that amount of time. Don't forget, they might talk about the total amount. How much did you pay in total? If it was the amount in total, then you've got to add that on to what you started with. So you don't pay the company back $2,190.50. You pay the company back that amount plus that amount over a period of 5 years. I hope it helps. If it helps, please let your friends know. The big ones are press like on the video. A lot of people will not have to press like. I'm now in the habit, I see people's videos, and if I like it, just go and press like. And then you can help me with subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. YouTube will not take much notice of me until I get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you can help, that's the greatest way you can support me. Thanks very much.